Welcome to the Paul Cervizzi Show. Today's a very special episode. I get to have the privilege and opportunity to have my two children, Juliana and Christopher, on the show today. So, welcome both.
How you doing?
Can you say hello?
Hello.
Home for the holidays. Thank you both for coming on. So, as you know, this is about the black belt mindset. People that have been successful in life and at home or in the community have done different things, kind of that entrepreneurial spirit that I feel that both of you absolutely emulate. So, Juliana, you just started off with a new venture in your life, moving to London.
Yeah,
What's that been like?
crazy. It's been crazy. I don't know. I left. I lived in Nashville for the last 5 years.
Yep.
Wanted a change of pace. Made it a really big change of pace.
Yeah, I remember you're like, "Hi, I need another change of pace. I'm going to
I'm
London."
gonna leave the country
Yeah.
for a little bit. No, that's something I always wanted to do though. And then it finally just kind of presented itself in a way that I could actually do it.
Why London though?
I wanted to go to Europe, but I didn't want to learn a different language
You didn't want to learn a
because I
different
knew I
language,
wouldn't be able
but
to do it.
also everybody knows that you're really working on your music and your music career.
Yeah, I
Is
mean, there's
London
only
kind of the hub?
there's only a few cities you can go
And
for for any like musical or creative pursuit, I would
awesome.
say. So it's either Nashville, New York, LA
So,
in the US, and then it's
if,
London's a big one over there.
so for those that don't know, you went to college in Nashville,
Mm-hmm.
then you stayed there for another year,
Yep.
and this is kind of like the sixth year from not being home that you're in another country.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And Christopher, um, you've done a lot in a very short period of time of your life. And, surprise came to me when you said, yeah, we're going to leave Boston and we're moving to Dallas. So it's like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And your life trajectory obviously has changed both on a personal and professional level. So let's first start out with um, your kind of entrepreneurial spirit. Like we talked about in martial arts, and both of you have earned and earned it very respectively, your black belt. But this show is not just about martial artists or martial arts in general, but more about that black belt mindset. The grit, the ability to pick yourself up when you fall down, and most importantly, is the ability to adapt. So, what I don't know. Earlier in life, you always said you wanted to be a dentist, and that
Did
um,
you actually want to be a dentist?
No, for a very brief period, and
yeah,
then
we even had you an internship, didn't we? Like,
What?
yeah, yeah.
Really?
Over here. Well, not a full internship, but you did shadow a dentist here locally, and
What
uh,
was that about? I remember that, but I have no idea where that came from.
I don't know either. It was brief. Yeah.
it was interesting. So, anyway, suffice to say, you're not a dentist. So, why don't you tell the viewers today a little bit about currently what you do? It's kind of it's to me, it's very fascinating, and I still don't know what it is. So, why don't you tell
I
us?
don't either.
Yeah. So let's see. Out of school, I let me take a step back. I went to Colgate University, upstate New York. Was a political science major. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Had a cool program at Colgate where they match you up with they call it a maroon mentor, someone who has graduated, played football, and was in your local area. So had the opportunity to get a mentor who got me into the construction business. I did an internship there, which then led me into real estate development and the whole real estate business as a whole. So out of school, started at a real estate firm in Boston. Loved it. Can dive into that, but a couple of years in, had a bit of a entrepreneurial itch. Wanted to change it up a little bit, and through another mentor of mine, found this organization that I'm at now.
So wait a minute, if I
Yeah.
may interrupt you. So we've had a bunch of guests on the show that, and you can relate to this, Juliana, that we follow, um, not so much your generation, but definitely my generation, right? You follow this outline that supposedly, everybody does. Everybody's the same, right? You go to grammar school, you go to high school, a lot of people go to college or not college, and then you get a job and you stay in that job for the rest of your life until you retire and collect your pension. That's like the roadmap for the generation that I was grown up on, and both of you absolutely do not fit that, especially you with your artistic side. But for someone that's 23, 24, when you get this, you called it entrepreneurial itch. Tell us a little bit about that because that's really the essence of what's going on in literally today.
Yeah, I mean, Juliana can speak to it, but I think looking at you and mom, I mean, both did multiple things, started your own businesses, which we'll get into. So I think from a young age, seeing that, having the ability to create your own path, uh, have control of your own destiny was always attractive. And I don't know, I guess we just wanted to be not in the cookie cutter
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
path. Yeah.
Yeah. And Juliana, I mean, being in the entertainment or music industry, um, it is so not the 95 cookie cutter method. So there's two things that going on. There's in our family, we kind of have those type A personalities, and you do this, and you kind of have the left brain, right brain, whatever that goes. You have always been like free spirited, not thinking in the box, but thinking out of the box. I know you had a traditional education up through college, but what kind of triggered your
I don't
entrepreneurial itch, for a lack of a better
I don't
word?
really know where that came
Like, where
from.
does
I don't
that come
know,
from?
maybe I have, like, second child syndrome.
So, okay,
Like,
that could be.
I don't,
Maybe.
because I don't know why I'm not you guys are all the same,
I know, but
and I don't but I'm saying, like, I don't I was born this way, I don't know. I
did you feel
never
like you
like,
all?
it's not like I mean, you guys have told me stories when I was little from before I remember, like, I was just, like, pain in the ass, like, I don't know. I just, like, I never did anything the way you guys did. Not on purpose, it was
Yeah,
just,
you
like
definitely didn't fit the mold. And looking back, that's a great thing. You
yeah,
broke the mold.
did I?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you got the itch to moving to London.
I think I just, like, didn't I think because you brought up seeing mom and dad doing all these things, I think I saw you and mom doing those things, and I was like, "I don't wanna do that."
Right. So a lot of
Like,
people that we've had,
True.
yeah,
I
right.
don't wanna do
Don't
that.
want to be a
I
lawyer.
don't want to be a
No.
lawyer. I don't want to. So a lot of people that we've had on the show really talk about their parents as role models, but and or other people in their lives that they were afforded the opportunity to be role models. So you have the role model and saw kind of like the entrepreneurial side of your parents. You had the role model and said, "I'm definitely not doing what they're doing, and I'm going entrepreneurial on steroids, so to speak." Right?
I don't even think about it as
It's just natural.
like, it doesn't feel to I feel like this isn't true, but I feel like the word entrepreneurial or being an entrepreneur, like, I just think of, like, Shark Tank and, like, businesses and
Yeah, but
stuff like that, which is, like, I know that's not really what I wonder what the
that's a
definition actually
right.
is,
That's a piece of
but
it. But in the way that I guess I'm talking about it is you move, you move to another country by yourself, knowing no one, and you're like, here we go. I'm going. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
something you would never do.
I was starting to have anxiety just getting you over there,
yeah.
And Christopher, you had mentioned, so you get the entrepreneurial itch. Do you leave that job? Do you look for another job? You mentioned that you had a second mentor. Like, so then what happens? You go from a conventional, you mentioned commercial real estate firm, and then what happens?
Yeah. Geez, this was 2020. 22. Uh, remember, I was actually with two of my buddies. We had a ski weekend, and one of them actually, in particular, just said, you know,
What are you doing?
"Yeah, what are you doing? Like, just you got to change it up. Like, why not? Why not just change it up?" I said, "All right, you're right." And then I remember I called you guys that weekend. You were supportive, and I quit. I literally quit my job.
And I know. And then you said,
Wait, did you quit that weekend?
I told them on Monday.
you said,
Wow.
and you said to me, us, that, you know what? I'm just going to take a month off and kind of do a reset and travel and go visit Uncle Peter, do this, do that, spend time with Nana, do the things that I haven't had the time. And I'm like, wait a minute, don't we do that like when we retire?
I think it,
Again,
I think it's interesting though because like it really just takes someone to say like why not? Because that's why I moved to London
why
because
not?
I was talking with Christopher and Mom last probably my God I don't know what day it is a year
Year
ago
ago,
today,
yeah.
and I was like I've always no this is how it started. I said don't you guys just feel like don't you ever just want to like leave and just like drop everything and leave? And Christopher and Mom and because I thought that was something that everyone felt, and Mom and Christopher looked at me and they were like no, and I was like what?
Yeah,
I thought everyone wanted
that
to, and
was
then it was,
such,
and I was like, I do, and Chris was like, why not?
why not?
And it
See,
really just takes someone to say that to you for you to think like, oh yeah,
yeah, but don't you have to have, yeah, maybe the weekend with your friend skiing was the catalyst or the impetus. But
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have that somewhere in your wiring to go, hey, how old were you at the time?
20, 24, 23.
24 years old, just started a full time job.
were you 24?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, 24. Yeah. 2 years after school.
2 years after
I'm
school,
gonna be
when people are
24.
like trying to figure out how to get a job, do I get a job? You not only got the job, you had a full time position and you were kind of climbing that corporate ladder, so to speak. And you're like, yeah, I'm taking time off.
I mean,
Like,
it was just in my gut. I mean, lots of reasons went into it, but I think I had that voice in my head, similar to you with London, and I took it. And we're lucky enough to be able to do that. Move home, and you know, just just had the ability to step back, reflect. I remember I made a list of what I really want to do, the type of place I want to be at. Got to see friends and family that you don't, I guess you should do, but you don't do. The little things. I remember I went over to Nana's house and we made pasta and had wine one day. Like you just don't do that. So anyway, it ended up being 3 months.
that's at 1 month turn to 3.
1 to 3.
You did a lot of traveling.
Did a lot of traveling. Helped you guys. If you
Oh,
remember that,
you were like
that
our
was during.
project manager at the
Yeah,
house.
you had the big flood. And yeah, and then at the time, my girlfriend at the time, Sarah, was also living in Boston, and that was the post-COVID era, right? Where
Well, it was
still,
actually during COVID, right?
yeah, 2022, out of the initial madness, but still, no one really knew how to
What to
act.
do, how to do, when to do it.
Yeah, and look, Boston wasn't a great place to be during that time, and you know, for whatever reason, we were like, hey, we got to change it up too. We got to, this isn't working where we are.
So your
So
plans, so let me just
yeah,
interrupt if I
yeah,
may. So plans were, again, plans, right? To stay in Boston. Obviously, Boston is beautiful and historic, right? But there were some things that were going on in COVID that, people agreed and disagreed with, which caused you to adapt and change, right? And again, we're going back to the adapt and change. I want to ask you both. Yours is a little different, but a lot of the guests on the show, we get into a discussion about the way that you think and the way that you are, based also not only on role models or parents or whatever, but education or not education. So, do you feel, Christopher, that your formal college education really was a a promoter of your thinking process and your ability to adapt, change on the fly, entrepreneurial, whatever it is, or was it an inhibitor?
I mean,
Because there's a huge debate, right? I mean,
yeah,
cost of education now.
Like college specifically?
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's just stay with college for now. The cost of a traditional college education. Now, granted, if you're going to go into a real specialty like medicine or engineering or what something really like that,
yeah.
I get it. Um, the cost of education, all of the problems that are going on campuses, especially now, it's a tumultuous time. But do you feel like that was a real solid experience for you?
I do.
Okay.
And I love this debate and I get it. Like it's always a question of cost and benefit and at some point there's going to be a bubble with education and it just can't keep rising the way it is. But
The cost, you mean?
the cost of education,
Yeah.
especially higher education, and it doesn't really, you know,
Yield
give that
results.
ROI,
Yep. Yep.
for parents and kids. I personally in my situation do believe that the experiences, the friendships, um, the ups and downs shaped me and is a part of who I am today. If you're talking the formal education in the classroom, as I said, political science major, did a lot of writing, did a lot of reading, did a lot of speaking. I actually do think that has helped me from a qualitative standpoint, but it was outside the classroom that is the real benefit.
Interesting. So your
Um,
relationships with other people, life
yeah,
experiences, being on your own, dealing with things,
yeah. I mean, it definitely shaped.
priceless, right?
Yeah, yeah,
For
100%
you.
for me.
Right. It does. And but I'm also sure that people, even at Colgate, that may not have had that experience,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. So, Juliana, you went to college in Nashville,
Mm.
Belmont University, which originally was, primarily like the music type of school. And now we know has branched off to be, from a tremendous law school. And they just recently opened the
Oh
medical
yeah,
school.
no.
They have the business school. But I think in your case, it was more for music.
I mean, this question is always hard for me to answer because
Yeah, you're in a
yeah,
little,
because my answer would be yes.
yes, what?
It shaped my or whatever question you asked me, it shaped the trajectory of like if I hadn't gone there and studied in the classroom because I majored in songwriting,
Right.
my time in the classroom was invaluable.
So was it the actual songwriting classes or was it the
Like I think the
connections?
question you're asking is mostly talking about gen ed courses.
Eh, no, I'm just talking about college in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was fortunate enough to go into college knowing what I wanted to study and what I wanted to
Specifically.
major in specifically.
Right.
So that, like me going there to do that and study that, well, yeah, no, I would not be the artist, songwriter,
The classes you took actually helped you.
benefited
Yeah.
So
my
yours
career
were more
post
of the
grad.
specific, like I said, more
I
of the,
think if you go to college for something specific,
yep.
you're much more likely to come out with a value, like with valuing your classroom
Yeah, I
experience.
mean, a lot of people do go in specifically and then end up changing. But
Right.
in addition, and I can attest to this, maybe in a little bit different than Christopher's scenario, is yours was songwriting specific, but you also went towards the beginning of COVID and you had
Yeah,
a
my
bob and weave,
well, my
especially
senior year of high school and freshman year of college was 2020.
that's right, you didn't have a graduation from college. You
Still
No,
salty.
from high school.
I mean, from high school,
Yeah,
and you
don't
went.
talk about that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. But and then you went to college. You couldn't. There was the issue of whether or not it was going to be totally remote. Then you
And it
were
mostly was.
right, and then you
Yeah.
lived off campus, and they allowed you to do that freshman. Yeah, you went through a real difficult time. You just beat that time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as that, so you and Christopher, just pivoting off that, your plans. It sounds like. Is well, not sounds like you were, right? Or at least in the beginning, gonna live in Boston. And then you weren't engaged then, right? No,
No.
no. All right. So then you decide to what? Pack up and go to Dallas. Another a pivot, right? You moved.
No, that was after you were engaged.
Yeah, yeah. That was. Yeah. I mean,
Right. But I mean, you both made the decision that Boston may not be fitting in during
Yeah,
this.
it was a mix of I didn't have a job. It was
Didn't have a job.
it was like I said, COVID times and just not a great place to be. Everything shut down still. And I don't know, I had a little bit of like, you know, want to go somewhere, grew up in the Northeast, went to college in the Northeast, wanted to try be somewhere different. And Sarah, my now wife, and I said, "Hey, we want to go to a new place, but we don't want it to be so foreign that we didn't know anyone or anything." And you know, her history where went to SMU in Dallas. Her mom grew up in Texas, so
So you had some type of connection to Texas.
yeah, yeah. So it was new, it was different, but it wasn't a complete stranger place.
Right. Which is kind of, again, going back to the mindset, and I start to think, do you think people your age today are more like that? Like a lot of your friends, and I know a lot of your friends, while some still live in the Boston area, a lot of kids or young men and women are moving to other states, and in your case, other countries. Um, Again, a little bit foreign to the age category that I'm in, but
I mean, I think I don't know about your friends from Brooks or I mean Belmont's different, right? Because they're in that region, but
Yeah.
all of my friends pretty much have moved out of Boston, out of Mass.
out of
Yeah, and
Massachusetts.
I mean I think it's normal to go to different states, travel, work, all that. Um, but right now, no one has come back.
Really?
It'll be interesting in your 30s and 40s, etc.
Whether you,
If they do, but um, yeah, they've all left.
what about you? Like your friends
No,
from,
they're all here.
they're here
I think.
in Mass.
Yeah, in Boston.
Interesting. They travel. I
They're
know
all
that.
yeah.
But
A lot of them, yeah, and they stayed in college in the Northeast as well, except for a few.
yeah,
But everyone came back.
interesting.
Hmm.
What's that about?
I don't. Did your friends like know what they wanted to do?
I mean,
Because I think the case for mine is a lot of them are just kind of figuring out their next steps, and they're like, "I'm going to be somewhere that I
I-
know and love
I-
while I figure that out."
I think it's. I mean, Boston's a great place to be in college, post college. I think once you start thinking about starting a family, buying a house, that's when it becomes harder
Wow.
these
Yes.
days.
Very challenging economically. So you just raised a good point. I don't know the exact word you use about comfortableness and why not be home while figuring it out.
Mhm.
So obviously, you come from a martial arts family, and you can think about this. But I said in a class, this comes up repeatedly, with the black belts and the high ranking black belts is comfortability, right? Um, and the two of us, three of us, and four of us have these conversations a lot. Is that people tend to gravitate towards comfortability, right? It's just natural.
Yeah.
If we're
Well,
comfortable, we're comfortable. But as you know, growth, personal and professionally, doesn't happen while you're comfortable. It happens when you're uncomfortable. The decisions you make to change the trajectory of your life can be uncomfortable, right? Whether it's taking time off, even though you have the itch, or whether it's moving to other country by yourself, it's uncomfortable. What is it about people? Because this is really what I want to delve into a little bit. Is what is it about people that are so okay with just being comfortable? And I'm not saying comfortable is bad, because there are times in everybody's life where we just need times of comfortableness. But what do you think separates individuals like yourselves and other people that um, to just go for it? And it, of course, it's going to be uncomfortable. Like, what is it?
I think in uncomfortable moments, whether day to day or your life, like things come up about yourself that you can't ignore and that you have to deal with.
What do you mean?
Like when you're in uncomfortable situations, you realize things about yourself that you like may or may not want to realize about yourself. So I think that people stay comfortable and stay in routine because they don't want to deal with that.
So you think it's more of
With
a,
things that
a
come up.
denial thing? Like,
I mean,
I
like
just,
it depends on what you want. 'Cause
so,
some people just want comfortable and that's fine.
yeah,
But
but
like, but I think that when you're uncomfortable and put in or we're using the word uncomfortable, but when you're put in situations that are unfamiliar,
yeah,
things come out about yourself that you don't see or know or realize when you're comfortable.
right. But at least, but what you're saying is you are then self-reflecting and it's becoming a learning process about yourself.
But a lot of people aren't comfortable self-reflecting and they don't want to.
Okay. So that's what I mean. So self-reflecting, right? What else do you think of some of the traits, qualities of, look at the in addition to yourselves, but look at the people that are in today's world that that you would equate, whether it be in the music industry or just in general, people, business people that are really cracking codes and making a huge impact in today's society, worldwide or in the States, whatever. What is it? So self-reflection over here. What's another trait do you think that is common to these folks?
Yeah, I was thinking when you said that back to the nurture versus nature, like how much is just are you inherently, you know,
Yeah,
like
it comes
that
up all
versus
the time.
I actually think with this one, it's a lot about your upbringing and the the people around you and the things you do. I mean, again, I go back to you and mom. I mean, both of you instilled the mentality of you can do whatever you want. Like you there's nothing that you can't do, right? Um and then I bring it back to martial arts, like being a 3 4 year old having to be in a tournament
Yeah.
and say your name and perform or spar fight another person at a young age, like you build that muscle of being uncomfortable to then as you
It's
grow
empowering,
and do
right?
other things, you're like, oh, I've done that. So
I think when you're uncomfortable, when you're forced to be uncomfortable at a young age too,
Ah,
that stays with you. Because if you, because yeah, I mean, I'm thinking about introducing yourself in front of the judges at the
yeah,
tournament.
you
that's what
guys,
I mean.
It's
you
like
guys did
doing
tons of
that at,
tournaments, right?
oh my God, doing that at, yeah, age like
It's
4.
it's horrifying.
But when you're little, everyone tries to like tap into their childlike innocence in the
So
sense that
do you
they don't
think that
care.
kids are more resilient to do that? Well, like if you
Yeah.
had an adult, like I have, you guys know that, I run tournaments all the time, and it's the kids are the first ones to register, the 4, 5, 6 year
Yeah.
olds. The older people are like, I'm not doing that. I'm not. So, like, if they're not doing that now, but a 4, 5, 6 year old is doing it then, and then they grow up, that's very empowering,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I
So
do.
now we're talking about empowerment, and this comes up a lot too. Like, so in this entrepreneurial black belt mindset, like the self-reflection, the empowering, the role models, the parents, the ability to really have the belief that the sky is the limit. That's huge too. What else do you think goes into it? Like, think of some, in addition to yourselves, other people that you know or emulate. Like, what is it about them that lets them, because we say 90% of getting it done is just showing up,
I
right?
love that quote.
And
Yeah.
it's on we
Yeah.
talk about it all the time, right? 90% is showing up. And now you got this 10% of the population, and then that whittles down to 5% because they still want to just be comfortable even though they're showing up. And then the percentages get smaller when you see these really successful people. So what
I
what else
I
goes
think
into it?
the making, and you guys might not agree with this because I think this is a core difference between me and you guys, is I think being successful is realizing that it's just not that serious.
Not that serious. And that's what I love to hear about you because yeah, you're definitely between the family members um so refreshingly different. And Christopher and I talk about this all the time. It's like Juliana just ABC. It's like So say that again, and
It's just not that serious.
what does that mean
Like
to
you're
you?
think of every successful person if you're thinking of like business, but any successful person, you have to take risks. And it's hard to take risks when when you put a lot of pressure on it because then you're uncomfortable again, which goes back to what we were saying originally.
Ah,
Like if you every morsel of success that I've ever had in my artist career or in anything is when you stop caring. Not
is it
stop
stop
caring.
caring or stop taking it so seriously?
Yeah, like not stop caring like you don't give it any value, but stop caring about the result and you stop taking it so seriously. Anytime you try to be the more you try to be something, the less you become it, I think.
Interesting. What do you think about that? That's an interesting that's
I
definitely not my mindset previous to my post. Remember, I told you about the cookie cutter method. So, as you both know, I was a probation officer for 32 years. That's what you did. You got a job out of college, you stayed in it, and then something lit in my brain that said, "Wait a minute." I don't want to be this 9 to 5 anymore. I don't want this to, listen to people do A, B, and C. I literally had no control of even though I was the boss, very little control over what I could and couldn't do. And didn't want those rules, right? So I wasn't able to take those risks. I wasn't able to self reflect. I wasn't able to do that until, I turned 55 and I said, you know what? I'm going to follow my dreams and my passion, which you both know what it is. It's martial arts and make an impact on the world. So, yeah, so what do you think, Christopher, about the serious? Think of the result. Think of, we get too hung up on that.
Yeah, I'm just digesting what you said. Like, I don't know for me if it's not, what did you say? Not caring about the result.
She's, yeah, good.
Yeah, like not the more you try to become something, the less you become it. I think the and let me explain that. You could I don't mean like working towards a goal cuz like that you need to do those things. But I'm saying it like it's science when you hold on too tight to the result or to like what you really want, you hold on too tight and your hands slip and you
I
lose it.
also think, yeah, and I think it sets you up to fail
It
too,
it
right?
totally does.
Because anything short of that expectation, and again, we need to have expectations and we
Yeah.
need to value the process. You're not saying that,
No.
but I think when you put so much emphasis, and I think we put a lot of pressure on young kids too, is like if you don't get the A+ and you get an A, you're a failure.
Yeah.
Or you have to achieve this amount of money and a dollar less than that, you're a failure. Right? Is that what
Right.
you say?
I
Too much emphasis on an exact result? Like, tell us more because this isn't, this
I don't
is
know.
different.
I just feel like when you yeah, I think maybe having like if you have a set result that needs to happen, anything different than that, even if it's more successful, will not feel rewarding.
Ah,
Yeah,
that's so
yeah, but
different than
yeah, I I get what you're saying. I disagree, and maybe this is me being a bit black and white. Like I think it is you win or you lose, and you have a target, and you push towards that target, and if you don't get it, you don't get it, right? If you put everything you have and you work towards it, and you may feel differently, but I, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with what you're saying. I do like what you said about not taking it as serious because I think when you're in it, whatever work, you think it's the biggest thing going on, and it isn't. There's bigger things in the world,
well,
and you're really lucky, right?
that's so
That's
true, right?
that's what's stressing you out. That's what's getting you
Yeah,
going.
right.
So I think there's something to that of you know put it in perspective.
So that's good, right? Putting it in perspective because we all know at any given time, you know, something can happen to one of us in our families, relatives, friends, and then these things that we think are the most important thing in the world literally are meaningless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess perspective might be a good word too, right? Because you get, and I like how you said it about serious, meaning like it's not the be all end all.
I, one more thing on that, just because it reminded me of something you used to tell me, and it ties into it. It kind of also ties into not taking it so seriously. Is you always used to say to me, "You're never as good as you think you are after a big win or after you score all those touchdowns. You're never as bad as you think you are after a loss or after a fumble." Right? I think that's the point. Is like, don't stay even keeled, right? It is part of the journey. Don't be so, go put all
They
seriousness
raise it
into
one
it.
basket that my
But
mother
like
used to
what
say.
you said about
That's true.
you think like if you're working towards something and you either win or you lose, or you either get it or you don't. But if you don't get it, you get nothing.
Did I tell you guys that my philosophy class at Boston College, the first day of class, I think I did. The professor wrote on the, we used to write on chalkboards then, dating myself. What is it? What
Back
is,
in my day.
yeah, back in my day, what is it? Right? And you just raised the same thing. What is it? I don't know where that
My
I don't
brain,
know.
my brain hurts. I'm over it.
Um, so
Switch. Let's talk about something
everything that
else.
we're talking about, that's funny. I don't know what to,
I don't know. I don't care.
I just went, um, everything that we've talked about so far, we've talked about risks, self-reflection, role models, right? Stop making fun of
No, I'm
yourself.
not making fun of you. I'm just thinking about how I'm hungry.
Okay, we'll get in. Role models, the ability to do things at a young age where you were made uncomfortable or you weren't comfortable, or maybe you were resilient and were comfortable. What else? Because there's other things in the tool bank here. What other qualities? What other? You think it's important to have a mentor?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I think like everyone does, whether they acknowledge it or not.
all
And
right.
I think it can be more than one.
Okay.
Because
So
I think a mentor is just someone older than you.
Not always.
No, maybe not, but like someone outside yourself that you can look up to
okay.
in any aspect.
Have you used or do you think mentors are important in your life or line of work or personally, professionally, or what?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, had mentors starting with you guys, all the way through the different stages of my life, and you got to have someone that you can ask questions to get advice from.
I
Uh,
think it's someone outside of your immediate circle. Someone that like doesn't owe you anything.
mm,
You
Yeah,
know,
I
cuz
think
your parents can say good job and no like cool. Like it doesn't that's not what you need. It's like a mentor is someone that doesn't have to be nice to you and someone that doesn't have to tell you things to
Yeah,
make you
I
feel
think
better.
mentors really are ones that are, like you said, Juliana, kind of detached from your circle that not only offer support, guidance, but also hold you accountable. Because
mhm.
I think accountability is really one of those other qualities that separate the the average doers from the true creative and innovators.
Accountability?
Accountability. And I don't and I
Yeah.
think we have, like you mentioned it, we have many mentors in our life. If we're talking about, your job, your business, you have mentors. If you're talking about, you know, what you need in your personal life and you have someone to go to talk to, um, that's another one. And if it's an athletic issue, your case football, you talk about, whatever it is, there's mentors. So, but a lot of people see that as like, I'm not relying on what other people say. Like they see that almost as a weakness. I see it as a total strength. having mentors and having people in your life to hold you accountable, guide, support, um, and assist.
Well, it means more when it's coming from someone that isn't blowing smoke.
Means more.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
feels
so
more
like the music
truthful.
industry, I'm sure you have a lot of mentors
Yeah.
because uh, that's a tough industry to crack.
Yeah. And it's like no one's going to tell you the truth except for people that their job is to tell you the truth. And it's like yeah, I could how many times have I asked you guys like I'll play you a song that I've written and you're like, "Yeah, great."
Yeah, we don't know music though, right?
But it's not about like not knowing it because with music specifically, it's like the average listener doesn't know anything about music.
Correct.
But like the feedback from you guys will help me less than the
Right, because
feedback
that's
coming
a
from a
specific
mentor
genre. Yeah, or a
that can
specific
say to me, "I don't like it."
and tell you why.
Yeah.
And in your
Yeah.
language, right?
Yeah.
And what about you?
I was thinking, yes, I agree. You need mentors. I think we have more mentors than we think. Someone at work recently told me, you may not think you're getting coaching, you may not think you're getting mentorship, but you are, right? It doesn't have to be a formal, way of
Yeah, it
advice,
doesn't have to be a
but,
coffee
you
meeting.
know, uh, a daily call or a check-in or a recommendation from someone, right? You may not view it as a mentor, can really shape what you do. And I thought more about that in the right. I mean, you learn from so many different people, and that's why to the point of actually people younger than you and people less experienced can actually teach you a lot and mentor you a lot by just doing
Yeah, I
versus
think in
formal
your
coaching.
right. I think in your age group, we had this conversation on the way over here. There's a lot of young people like you, right, that are doing incredible things that I sit back and reflect and go, holy moly, when I was 28 or I was 31, I was doing these people are like cracking codes here, for lack of a better word. It's like there's a huge generational shift, and I know, and this is something that I really want to touch upon too, because it brings in the issues of technology. It brings into stuff we talked about with AI, whatever that means. Um, you know, I'm going back, and I
Oh
still
god.
remember my first cell phone was in a bag phone. And we put it in your cigarette lighter, right? And now people are, you know, using different prompts to do life-changing surgeries and things like that. So um there's a big shift. And again, I know I've always said to you guys, well, when I was growing up, we did this, and you make fun of me and stuff. So there's something to say about balance too, right? That comes into this equation of success, right? I remember, we go outside and play all day, and then my parents would say, "Come in for dinner," and where now, I'm still telling you,
I didn't do that.
you didn't do that, but you had the opportunity to do. The world was a little different. Where now it's I'm still telling you and still telling you, be careful where you go, be careful where you go, be observant, I just feel like there was more um there was less worry, there was less noise. People aren't on their phones, people aren't distracted,
I
and it was more of raw friendships, talking, sitting on a bench and looking at each other and just chatting and doing those real basic wonderful things that today we see as an exception but a necessary thing, like when you took your time off, because we don't get to do them, right? As opposed to your generation, I think there's so many more positive things too, as far as, the drive, the vision to make impact, the recipe for success, and all that stuff, and technology being great, and obviously maybe not being great. So I think, there's pros and cons, but there's a balance of both generations. What were you going to say?
I was just gonna say that I think the biggest thing about our generation with the introduction of technology and social media, whatever, there's obviously a ton of negatives.
Ton of negatives. So
Yeah,
let
but I think the biggest thing because you when we were talking about this the other morning, how and you've been saying this a bunch, how kids feel like they're like cracking codes now and they're like trying crazy stuff. And I think it's because of all the exposure to things that we have. Because the more exposure you have, the more things feel possible,
Feel
right?
possible.
Yeah.
So do you, in
So,
that sense, social media can be a good thing.
well, yeah. You're seeing people that are 15 that are making more money than their parents ever dreamed of from,
And possibly making a huge impact
yeah.
in society. Well, you've got a 4-month-year-old, right? Which can change your life upside down. And as we said, um, you know, things in our lives that happen outside of work, um, you weren't thinking about work when that beautiful Knox was brought into the world, right?
Right.
Put that in perspective. So now you are in a position, your station in life with you and your wife, you are responsible for another person. Okay. So we had this very brief, and I'm sure it's going to continue, conversation with putting, Knox is enamored by different, he's very focused and detailed and curious, and was looking at the television, and you literally put his head to the side and says, no, I don't want him exposed to that now. How does society, education, school, teachers, martial arts coaches, mentors, so Juliana says it gives you exposure, yet you're turning the 4-month-year-old's head away. So tell me your thoughts on social media or technology or another side. So why don't you want them to look at the TV?
Yeah, it's conflicting
It's very
for
conflicting.
me, and I don't know. I mean,
No,
I'm excited and scared actually of where it's going, but also as I think to Knox, like what it's going to be like for him.
growing up, right?
I think the reasoning I don't want him staring at the screen. I think is it's not natural if you think of the developmental evolution. I mean, there was never a time where babies are staring at screens at 4 months old, right? And
I don't know.
I don't know.
Is it the screen? Is it the light?
Yeah,
Is it you know, the picture on the wall?
I
Now you are required
right.
as a good parent to make thoughtful decisions about another human being that is reliant on you and his mother for everything right now. So what are you going to do with technology?
Look, he's gonna grow up in a age of technology. We don't even know that what it's gonna be like,
It
right?
changes by the
But
minute.
that's all generations. I mean, even think back to your parents. I mean, the idea of a TV and a cell
We had a
phone.
TV
I
black
think
with antennas that would put
Yeah. So that's
I
gonna
think it's
always
interesting though that you're shielding him. And I don't agree or disagree with what you're doing because
no,
like
there's no book
my
on
initial
parenting.
thought is like, yeah, don't show him the TV. However, I'm just realizing now you're people are shielding their kids from something that is they're going to absolutely need to survive in
Well,
this world
y-
when they, you know what I mean, like he's being brought into a world of ultra technology. This is as advanced as technology has ever been, and
well,
you're just delaying his exposure.
exposure.
yeah.
Like we said before, like there will come a time like, he won't survive without
I
technology.
mean, Sarah and I's belief is, you don't want to shield him from everything and have the forbidden fruit, right? Where like they're ultimately going to do what they want to
Yeah.
do. They have access to it, right? So you don't want to just say shield from everything.
Yeah.
I am a huge proponent of technology. It's what I do for work, and I want him to lean in on that. I mean, the type of skills that are required in this day and age are different than even when I was growing up.
You think you fall behind by not being um, tech savvy, social
Oh,
media
I do.
you
savvy,
have to be digitally enabled. You have to know
digitally enabled? I
know
like
the
that.
basics of modern day technology.
So let's agree to disagree or whatever. If we agree, when I started my first martial arts school, I say it on every single show, 1995, right? I had a paper sign painted karate coming soon. Put two of them on each window. That was that, and filling out postcards with a census book in Winthrop and mailing it home to people that were in a certain age category or whatever that may have kids or whatever. That was the extent of, oh, and also putting an ad in the Winthrop paper. That was the extent of my marketing. And I opened the first day, I think I had 35, 40 students. You would not survive one day by following that market plan, as you know, not being
Yeah,
digitally enabled.
because people weren't exposed to anything outside of their circle before the internet.
But what I'm saying, I agree. But what I'm saying is, does every business have to do this to survive? And if you don't, you're done.
Have to do what?
Proficient in now we're talking about AI bots and virtual assistants and what can AI do and what can robots do and what can like you said, your work, you're in the digital future age. In your work with real estate company processes using you can explain that in 1 second, but the digital twins or whatever. And in your music, everything is social media and technology and AI, and God knows what's going to happen next. So, how do you survive if you're a business?
You
You
have to.
have to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. You have to do it. That's a lot. So you have to raise your son being digitally. You have to do this. Like, where's the balance? When do you give them their first cell phone? You guys know this. We had this discussion. You two were the latest people to have cell phones, right? And in your friend group. Like, did that inhibit you? I don't know. But now technology is such that we're dependent on it on everything.
Yeah,
So
it's a balance, like you said. I believe you have to, the next generation of students, workers have to have those skills, right? Like you can think of an equivalent before. There are certain skills you need to have to be successful in anything, right, going forward from a technology standpoint. But you have to have a balance because too much of anything, we are human beings at the core. You right, you have to allow kids and others to have their natural
play outside,
yeah.
do their thing.
Yeah. So it's a balance. It's always been
It's a balance, but look at where we're racing to. And look at the stress and the mental health crisis we're in now, and the addiction crisis we're in now, and the pressure. You know, you may be able to speak to this about living. I know you've only been in London for a short period of time, but there's other countries that look at us and go, "Oh yeah, they're the superpower." But I'm taking my afternoon siesta, and I'm gonna, we watch that show, right? The Blue Zone. Like, what are those common threads that allow areas of the world to have the largest
Well,
number of centurions? Like, what are we doing?
I think you have to decide what's important to you. If entrepreneurial success is what makes you feel like, okay, now I can die. I did my thing and now I'm good. Or is it being happy? And I mean, not that you can be happy doing that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No,
it's
I get
like,
it.
it's what is success to you? Your definition of success, I think to a lot of Americans is very different to people living
You
in
see it different in
other
London,
yeah.
in England.
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, it's just I think people value quality time more over there.
What are they
Not
do?
just London specifically, but there's a reason why Americans go to Europe to vacation if they can. And there's a reason why people in Europe come to America to work.
Mm, okay. All right. Do you see? So when you say it's a balance, right? When you say quality time, like what do you mean? There are interactions you
Like,
see.
you go to dinner and you sit there for hours.
Where here you're like,
I'm like,
you
"Where's the
know,
check? It's been forever."
well, look at some restaurants you go to now, like, oh yeah, you can have
You
this
have
table
90
for 90
minutes.
minutes. That like we inherently
We're in a rush.
are in a rush. We're
But
like,
that's a cultural thing. That's not a technology thing. I mean, that's just a
so,
No, no, yeah.
no. I know. I'm just talking about the stressors that technology can cause too. So, the other, I mean, look at robots have been performing surgeries for many, many years, right? What do you think is going to be the next step in AI? Like, how do you see,
I don't know.
what's going to happen in 2026? Like in 1 year, it seems like every month something's going. Do you have any thoughts on that? Like, what's where we going?
I mean, AI is following the hype cycle, like the Gartner hype cycle where you have this, expectation that is just through the roof and then you hit a trough of disillusionment. I think we're hitting that now where AI, but people are starting to say, what is it really doing for me? It's not going away, that's for sure. It's going to be interesting. What I'm really fascinated is just how much you can do with it without requiring the technical skills. So,
Ease of use, you mean?
yeah, I mean, building apps, building websites can be done in with 30 seconds. You don't need a web developer anymore,
All
right?
right. So, wait a minute now. What do you think it's going to do for jobs? Is it job specific? I mean, there's AI now that's I think I told you I saw this, a movie's coming out with AI actors. You literally can't tell them if they're human or regular. So how's that going to affect the music industry? Is affecting it. I'm sure it is. They can write songs. You can plug in your voice to do this. I mean, people are looking like other people.
Yeah,
I am curious how it is going to affect music and
I mean,
songwriting specifically.
we talk about this a lot in my courses.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you're in grad school, right? In
I'm
London.
getting my master's in songwriting now.
Awesome.
We
Yeah.
talk about AI a lot because it is very real in affecting the music industry in real time. And I believe that with the arts specifically, there is a human element that cannot be, because people like the arts because of the human element.
True.
Like
Like I want to go to a concert and see a.
music and painting, that doesn't have to be like cost efficient. I mean, it could if you're really talking about finance and stuff like that. But I'm saying like AI helps businesses so much because they're trying to like move as quickly as possible and convenience and I don't know, ultra production. But you look at things like the arts, it's like they what makes it unique and what makes it cool is the human element. So I think in that case, I don't think AI will take over
But as
in the
far
sense
as
of
like what
replacement.
Christopher said about the writing of songs and all that stuff,
Or even the vocals and singing. I mean, from a performance standpoint, maybe we're not there yet to have, you know,
fake performers.
hardware and robots to do it, but on on streaming platforms and radio, like
Yeah,
who's to say it
an
can't write a song?
AI artist. I mean, there are AI artists. They actually have been charting on like the charts.
Really?
Yeah.
That's scary.
Mm, I think if you're scared of it, you just let it pass through. Like I don't.
Okay, so you had mentioned about I forget what triggered this, but about web developers. What about the job industry? Like you go to a supermarket now, there's like everything is self checkout. There's a person there that oversees because the machines never, people can't figure out how to do it or the machines break down. You think there's going to be this whole generational shift now where these certain jobs like coding and computer work and, things like that are just going to become obsolete?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
You
And
know?
I mean,
So what does
it's
that do?
already happening and it's going to be really interesting as the boomer generation retires and the one right before. There's a going to be a big gap of knowledge lost that we just don't have. in the next generations, I mean, we were talking about doctors, right? In your practice, like there's just a gap, right?
There's a huge gap.
And that's in every industry. Um,
Is
so
that going to affect? I mean, we don't know, but is that going to affect the economy? Is that going to affect the way that schools? I had several guests on the show that talked about trade schools now for their kids. Um, yep, trade schools for their kids that they can come out making a great amount of money. With plumbing and electricians and
well, that's
HVAC and
I love this topic. I really think the trades or any highly technical that require uh, a manual skill is in such high demand right now. Will continue to be in such high demand because the types of jobs that you mentioned previously, and product and engineering and coding can be done, the bulk of the work with the technology and AI today.
today.
Where today, right? Whereas those other, type of professions, electrician, a plumber, whatnot, can't.
Right.
Now, will we get to a point where you can have a robot and do that? Sure, but now you can, and so that's going to be fascinating to see that shift um, around those fields. Yeah.
Yeah. So buckle up and see. So yeah, so we're winding down now. We got a couple of minutes left on the show, and I just want to touch upon something. And definitely, I hope that both of you, even though you may be across the pond, did I say it
Yes.
right? And you out of state, have you both back on the show because we haven't even touched upon some of the things that I wanted to discuss with you both. But let me just summarize and you can jump in at any time is we talked about what are those black belt traits that successful people and entrepreneurs and people that are happy in life or whatever their chosen field is or station in life have, right? You both and many of the people that I had on the show mentioned their parents, mentioned role models, mentioned opportunities. What about people that don't have parents that are readily available to be role models? What about people that weren't dealt the cards that you two were dealt and I was dealt? What about the kids that are growing up today facing this immense pressure of technology and things like that? There's a lot of things going on, but what advice can we give? Like my goal with this show is to get out to people like the qualities, not only the benefits, obviously, that you both got from martial arts, but exposing martial arts and the benefits that it has to be leaders in life, not just punching and kicking. And you don't have to have a martial arts background. And that's why we touch upon the qualities of the martial artist. But what about kids of today that don't have the role models that you had and don't have the opportunities? What would one bit of advice that each of you could give to those individuals that may be struggling, that may not have those benefits? Start with you, Christopher. Tough question.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it. We were so fortunate to have you and mom to for everything you've done for us. There's too many things to mention. I mean that, and not everybody has those parents or figures, parental figures. I think when you have programs like martial arts programs or athletics or other where you can be part of a community where you can be part of a team, you can go through ups and downs, you can get the discipline, the confidence, the adaptability. I- there are programs out there, and there's probably more we can all do to spread that. But I think that's a great way to get that step in life is to join a program like a martial arts or
Yeah, I
an
agree
athletic
because
team.
it's the community, it's the team,
Yeah.
and it's people call it the tribe, right? Because being in probation for all those years, and I keep on mentioning it again, if that's why kids join gangs. They need to belong. We're human beings, as you said, right? There's human elements. So you're either going to go down one way or you're going to go down another way.
Yep.
What would you give one bit of advice to a young person that's struggling today for not having what we've been afforded?
I don't know. I wish I had. I wish I had a great answer.
No, I don't think
But
there
I
is a great
I
answer.
think that, like, at the end of the day, the thing that makes us feel worthy is a purpose. And like we talked about the other day, like, I feel so lucky to have been that I don't know if I was born with it or what, but, like, I have a passion,
Yeah, we did talk about this.
and that's the difference. I see a lot of my friends struggling with that now. You get out of college and after going through the course, and you're like, "All right, well, what's my purpose?"
Right.
Which is something that is new to our generation, because you
Absolutely.
guys.
Yep. So I think that what we can do, you and yourself and myself, is since we've been afforded those opportunities, we really got to give back, right? That's from my soul talking is we've got to give back to those that are less fortunate of us. And that's why I always say, let's make an impact in someone's life, whether it be for 1 minute holding a door or whether really, having a cup of coffee and being kind
And
to
pay it forward, right?
pay it
Yeah.
forward. I really believe we have to, we must, and it's our duty to because we've been giving those opportunities. All right, great, so awesome. I hope you enjoyed the show. You did a great job. We talked about a lot of good stuff, and I'm so happy that you both could be
Yeah.
It was great to have us. Go subscribe.
on.